Hey everybody, back again. I know yesterday you were working on the worksheet, the multiple choice and vocabulary part. You might have read, you should have read that I only graded the multiple choice part. Each question was worth 2 points. I didn't grade the vocabulary because I'm not there with you and I didn't have a chance to talk with you about how that might work. It looked like most of you did pretty well, but we'll go over it when I get back. Today we're going to read Chapter 7 in wholes. It's kind of a long chapter. And we didn't pick it up yesterday, so sometimes what I do is go back and reread maybe the last paragraph or so, or at least remind myself of what happened last. So I'm going to do that. But before I do, I want to talk to you about today's lesson. Books get complicated as you get older. So 6th grade books are more complicated than 5th grade books and 4th grade books. And that's a good thing, right? Because you're ready for that. And sometimes when there are books at your level, at the 6th grade, 7th grade level, there are multiple plots going on. And that's what happens in this book. There's a plot for Stanley, but there's also a backstory. And it keeps coming up in the book. And we're going to see that in Chapter 7. So I think it might be valuable, and anytime you're reading a book with these multiple plot lines or you just feel like there's a lot going on, you can do a sort of timeline. So I thought I would get started with Stanley. Here's my timeline so far for Stanley. I just have his name, and that's Camp Green Lake, the little house there, and an empty lake. And I thought I was going to start there, but then I thought to myself, wait a second, something happened before he got to Camp Green Lake. Do you remember? Do you remember? He got arrested, right? So I need to add that first to my timeline here. And I don't know, it's the end of the year. I'm kind of feeling like I want to be a little creative with it. So I'm going to do my timeline sort of like a map. So I wrote got arrested and then these little lines, and now he's at Camp Green Lake. And I'm just going to add to it as I go. And then you need to do the same thing. So this is going to be easier if you're doing your timeline on paper, but you can be as creative as you want to be with it. If you decide to continue jotting electronically, then kind of think how you're going to do this. Will it just be bullet points? Are you going to be able to have fun with it? You will be turning it in periodically, or at least parts of it in. So fair warning. All right, I'm going to go back and read the last paragraph of Chapter 6. Are you with me? Good. The judge said that there was an opening at Camp Green Lake, and he suggested that the discipline of the camp might improve Stanley's character. It was either that or jail. Stanley's parents asked if they could have some time to find out more about Camp Green Lake, but the judge advised them to make a quick decision. Vacancies don't last long at Camp Green Lake. Seems to me like they would. But, okay. Got it. So now we're on Chapter 7. I'm going to think about what else needs to go on my timeline as I read. And I'm just going to think all about those, like, who am I meeting? Who are the characters that are important? What do I notice about Stanley? Because at this point in the year, we are sophisticated enough readers to do all of those things. Here we go. The shovel felt heavy in Stanley's soft, fleshy hands. I guess he hasn't done a lot of, work before. He tried to jam it into the earth, but the blade banged against the ground and bounced off without making a dent. The vibrations ran up the shaft of the shovel and into Stanley's wrist, making his bones rattle. It was still dark. Oh my gosh, it's so early in the morning that it's dark. The only light came from the moon and the stars, more stars than Stanley had ever seen before. It seemed he had only just gotten to sleep when Mr. Pedansky came in and woke everyone up. Using all his might, he brought the shovel back down onto the dry lake bed. The force stung his hands but made no impression on the earth. He wondered if he had a defective shovel. He glanced at Zero, about 15 feet away, who scooped out a shovelful of dirt and dumped it on a pile that was already almost a foot tall. For breakfast, they'd been served some kind of lukewarm cereal. The best part was the orange juice. They each got a pint carton. The cereal actually didn't taste too bad, but it had smelled just like his cot. Ew. Then they filled their canteens, got their shovels, and were marched out across the lake. Each group was assigned a different area. The shovels were kept in a shed near the showers. They all looked exactly the same. No, they all looked the same to Stanley, although X-Ray had his own special shovel, which no one else was allowed to use. X-Ray claimed it was shorter than the others, but if it was only by a fraction of an inch. The shovels were 5 feet long, from the tip of the steel blade to the end of the wooden shaft. Stanley's hole would have to be as deep as his shovel, and he'd have to be able to lay the shovel flat across the bottom in any direction. That was why X-Ray wanted the shortest shovel. Makes sense to me. The lake was so full of holes and mounds that it reminded Stanley of pictures he'd seen of the moon. If you find anything interesting or unusual, Mr. Podansky had told him, you should report it either to me or Mr. Sir when we come around with the water truck. If the warden likes what you found, you'll get the rest of the day off. So there's a reward then for like finding something interesting. So I guess that's supposed to be motivation, right? I think I'll add to my timeline that they're digging holes, right? Digging holes. Anything interesting? I'm writing that down. Anything interesting? Day off. Woohoo. Okay. What are we supposed to be looking for? Stanley asked him. You're not looking for anything. You're digging to build character. It's just, if you find anything, the warden would like to know about it. He glanced helplessly at his shovel. It wasn't defective. He was defective. He noticed a thin crack in the ground. He placed the point of his shovel on top of it, then jumped on the back of the blade with both feet. The shovel sank a few inches into the parched earth. He smiled. For once in his life, it paid to be overweight. He leaned on the shaft and pried up his first shovelful of dirt, then dumped it off to the side. Only 10 million more to go, he thought, and then placed the shovel back into the crack and jumped on it again. He unearthed several shovelfuls of dirt in this manner, before it occurred to him that he was dumping his dirt within the perimeter of his hole. So within that 5 feet of diameter he's supposed to be digging. He laid his shovel flat on the ground and marked where the edges of his hole would be. 5 feet was awfully wide. Yeah, that's like as tall as you guys. He moved the dirt he'd already dug up out past his mark. He took a drink from his canteen. 5 feet would be awfully deep, too. That does sound like a lot. The digging got easier after a while. The ground was hardest at the surface, where the sun had baked a crust about 8 inches deep. Oh my gosh, so like it's really, really hard at the top, but then it gets better. Beneath that, the earth was looser, but by the time Stanley broke past the crust, a blister had formed in the middle of his right thumb, and it hurt to hold the shovel. Then there's like a space in the book, right? I don't know if it's there in Learning Alley, but I hope so, because now the plot line is going to switch. It says Stanley's great-great-grandfather was named Elya Yelnats. He was born in Latvia. When he was 15 years old, he fell in love with Myra Menke. It looks to me like this is going to be one of those backstory pieces. So I'm not going to put this on this timeline, right? I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but I know I need to make notes about this because authors put things, backstories in stories for a reason. So maybe I'll skip a page. And I'm going to write Stanley's great-great-grandfather. Stanley's great. Actually, I wrote GR instead of great. Grandfather story. Okay. Let's see. I'll read a little bit more. He didn't know he was Stanley's great-great-grandfather. Well, not yet, right? Myra Menke was 14. She would turn 15 in 2 months, at which time her father had decided she should be married. It was a long time ago. Elya went to her father to ask for her hand, but so did Igor Barkov, the pig farmer. Igor was 57 years old. Okay, he's 57 and she is 14. No. I mean, I know it was a long time ago, but no. He had a red nose and fat, puffy cheeks. I will trade you my fattest pig for your daughter, Igor offered. And what have you got? Myra's father asked Elia. A heart full of love. That's Stanley's grandfather, right? I'd rather have a fat pig, said Myra's father. Desperate, Elia went to see Madame Zeroni, an old Egyptian woman. Ooh, we've heard that name before, right? Do you remember? You can pause me and talk about it if you want to, but we've heard that name before. An old Egyptian woman who lived on the edge of town. He had become friends with her, though she was quite a bit older than him. She was even older than Igor Barkov. The other boys of his village liked to mud wrestle. Elia preferred visiting Madame Zeroni and listening to her many stories. Madame Zeroni had dark skin and a very wide mouth. When she looked at you, her eyes seemed to expand, and you felt like she was looking right through you. Elia, what's wrong? She asked before he even told her he was upset. She was sitting in a homemade wheelchair. She had no left foot. Her leg stopped at the ankle. I'm in love with Myra Menke, Elia confessed, but Igor Barkov has offered to trade his fattest pig for her. I can't compete with that. Good, said Madame Zeroni. You're too young to get married. You've got your whole life ahead of you. But I love Myra. Myra's head is as empty as a flower pot. But she's beautiful. So is a flower pot. Can she push a plow? Can she milk a goat? No, she is too delicate. Can she have an intelligent conversation? No, she is silly and foolish. Will she take care of you when you are sick? No, she is spoiled and will only want you to take care of her. So she's beautiful. So what? Patooey. Madame Zeroni spit on the dirt. She told Elia that he should go to America. Like my son, that's where your future lies, not with Myra Menke. But Elia would hear none of that. He was 15, and all he could see was Myra's shallow beauty. There's a lesson in there, kids. Madame Zeroni hated to see Elia so forlorn. Against her better judgment, she agreed to help him. It just so happens my sow gave birth to a litter of piglets yesterday, she said. There is one little runt whom she won't suckle. You may have him. He would die anyway. Madame Zeroni led Elia around the back of her house where she kept her pigs. Elia took the tiny piglet, but he didn't see what good it would do him. It wasn't much bigger than a rat. Ew. He'll grow, Madame Zeroni assured him. Do you see that mountain on the edge of the forest? Yes, said Elia. On the top of that mountain there's a stream where the water runs uphill. You must carry that piglet every day to the top of the mountain and let it drink from the stream. As it drinks, you are to sing to him. She taught Elia a special song to sing to the pig. On the day of Myra's 15th birthday, you should carry that pig up the mountain for the last time. Then take it directly to Myra's father. It will be fatter than any of Igor's pigs. If it is that big and fat, asked Elia, how will I be able to carry it up the mountain? The piglet is not too heavy for you now, is it? Asked Madame Zeroni. Of course not, said Elia. Do you think it will be too heavy for you tomorrow? No. Every day you will carry the pig up the mountain. It will get a little bigger, but you will get a little stronger. After you give the pig to Myra's father, I want you to do one more thing for me. Anything, said Elia. I want you to carry me up the mountain. I want to drink from this stream, and I want you to sing the song for me. Elia promised he would. Madame Zeroni warned that if he failed to do this, he and his descendants would be doomed for all of eternity. At the time, Elia thought nothing of the curse. He was just a 15-year-old kid, and eternity didn't seem much longer than a week from Tuesday. Besides, he liked Madame Zeroni and would be glad to carry her up the mountain. He would have done it right then and there, but he wasn't strong enough. Then there's another pause. So that's the story. So, let's take a second and think about what we need to jot from there. Like, what's important to notice there? So needed, for me, the first thing, it needed help marrying, what's her name? Myra. Needed help marrying Myra. Madame Zeroni, lovely name, gave him the pig and instructions. Now, I want to push myself, right? I don't just want to jot what happened because anybody can just jot what happened. So I'm going to do a little bit more. There at the end where it says, Madame Zeroni, I'm on page 31. Madame Zeroni warned that if he failed to do this, he and his descendants would be doomed for all of eternity. So like they mention a curse and doom if he doesn't follow through. I imagine, I want to add a little bit of my thinking here. I imagine that that is important, right? Because we already know that bad things have happened to the family. So I feel like this is important, right? This, the curse and the doom, and we need to remember it. So I wrote that down. The curse and the doom if you don't follow it. All right, there's a lot of pages left in chapter 7. And it wanders back and forth between Stanley's plotline and the great-great-grandfather's plotline. So when you're jotting today, think about keeping 2 different timelines and make sure that you're not just writing down what happens in the story, but you're also jotting some thinking, or you're trying to make some connections. You know, those deeper kinds of things, maybe adding some character traits or some thinking about why these things matter. I will be back on Monday, and I can't wait. All right, see you guys later. Bye.